Limiting LVM device visibility and usage. You can limit the devices that are visible and usable to logical volume manager LVM by controlling the devices that LVM can scan. Use LVM commands to control LVM device scanning. LVM commands interact with a file called the system.devices file, which lists the visible and usable devices. This feature is enabled by default in Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9. If you disable the devices file feature, the LVM device filter is enabled automatically. To adjust the configuration of LVM device scanning, edit the LVM device filter settings in the etc lvm.conf file. The filters in the lvm.conf file consist of a series of simple regular expressions. The system applies these expressions to each device name in the /save directory to decide whether to accept or reject each detected block device. The LVM devices file, the logical volume manager LVM system.devices file controls device visibility and usability to LVM. You can find the devices file in the etc LVM devices directory. etc LVM devices directory. So there is a file called system.devices which contains all the devices. See, these are the physical volumes created by LVM command lvspid. All the physical volumes you can see ST, STB, STC, STD, ST, STF, STG, HIJ, KL, MN. All the physical volumes, the ID type, dev name, ID name, device name, and PV ID. So etc LVM devices directly use LVM commands to manage the device file. Do not directly edit the system.devices file. By default, system.devices file feature is enabled in Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9. When active, it replaces LVM device filter. By default, the system.devices file feature is enabled in Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9. When active, it replaces the LVM device filter. To enable the LVM device filter, disable the system.devices file. So when the system.devices file is active, it replaces the device filter, LVM device filter. To enable the LVM device filter, disable the system.devices file. So anyone. For more information, see disabling the system.devices file. Additional resources, LVM devices and lvm.conf man pages on your system. Adding devices to the system.devices file. To use devices with the logical volume manager LVM, the system.devices file must contain a list of the device IDs, otherwise LVM ignores them. So the system.devices file must contain a list of the device IDs. So device IDs are present here: ID type, ID name, dev name, PVID. PVID. A newly installed system includes a root device into the devices file automatically. The newly installed system includes the root device into the devices file automatically. Any physical volume attached to the system during OS installation are also included into the devices file. You can also specifically add devices to the devices file. LVM detects and uses only the list of devices stored in the devices file. You can also specifically add devices to the devices file. Specifically add devices to the devices file. LVM detects and uses only the list of devices stored in the devices file. Procedure: add devices to the system.devices file by using one of the following methods. Add devices to the system.devices file by using one of the following methods. Add devices by including their name to the devices file. LVM devices hyphen add their device name. LVM devices add their device name slash dev slash st say give yum again. Add their devices name. Add system dot devices. Add all devices in the volume group VG to the devices file. So add all devices in a volume group to the devices file. So VG import devices space volume group name. So VGS, I have only one volume group here, my underscore VG. So VG import devices space the volume group name my underscore VG. Added 13 devices to devices file. Added 13 devices to devices file. ls system.devices. Add system.devices. So STB doesn't have a PBID here. SDB doesn't have a PBID. So I will create a PVS. So STB is not here. STB is not a physical volume. So I will add STB. PV create slash dev slash STB. Physical volume created. Now LVM devices hyphen add dev slash dev slash STB cat system dot cat etc LVM devices system dot devices file. You can see the STB entry is added here in the file. In the system dot devices file, STB entry is added. So VG import devices VG underscore name. VG import devices my underscore VG. Added 13 devices to the devices file. Add all devices in all visible VGs to the devices file. So in all the visible VGs, if I want to add all the devices to present in the all the visible VGs to the devices file, VG import devices hyphen all. VG import devices hyphen all. So added 13 devices to the devices file. To implicitly include new devices into the system.devices file, use one of the following methods. So to implicitly include new devices into the system.devices file, use one of the following commands. Use the pv create command to initialize a new device. Pv create space device name. This action automatically adds a new physical volume pv to the system.devices file. Initialize new devices and add the new device arguments to the device files automatically. Initialize new devices and add the new device arguments to the devices file automatically. This action automatically adds the new physical volume pv to the system.devices file. Initialize new devices and add the new device arguments to the devices file automatically. Initialize new devices and add the new device arguments to the devices file automatically. VG create VG name devices underscore name. Replace VG underscore name with the name of the volume group from which you want to add devices. Replace device underscore names with a separate space separated list of the devices you want to add. Space separated list of the devices you want to add. Use the VG extend command to initialize new devices. VG extend VG name devices underscore name. So volume group create and then extend the. So I already have a volume group actually. I will extend the volume group. VG extend VG underscore name devices underscore name. Replace VG underscore name with the name of the volume group from which you want to add devices. Replace devices underscore name with the name of the devices you want to add. This adds a new device arguments to the devices file automatically. VG extend use the following verification only in case you need to explicitly add new devices to the system.devices file. Display the system.devices file to check the list of devices cat etc lvm devices system.devices. Update the system.devices file to match the most recent device information lvm devices update. etc lvm devices etc lvm devices system.devices etc lvm devices system.devices file. Update the system.devices file to match the most recent device information. Update the system.devices file to match the most recent device information. LVM devices update. Update the system.devices file. Update the system.devices file to match the most recent device information. Update the system.devices file to match the most recent information. LVM devices update. LVM devices update. No update for devices file is needed. Additional resources LVM devices PV create, VG create, VG extend man pages on your system. Removing devices from the system.devices file. Removing a device to prevent the logical volume manager LVM from detecting or using that device. Remove a device by using one of the following methods depending on the information you have about the device. Remove a device by name. LVM devices del dev device name. LVM devices del dev device name. LVM LVM devices del device, the device name slash this slash stb. LVM devices del dev slash this slash stb. Remove device by the physical volume PV ID of the device. Remove device by the physical volume PV ID of the device. LVM devices del PV ID. Enter PV ID. PV UUID. LVM devices del PVID followed by the PVID. So let me give that PVID TW UME FN WM GHS LD 6 G 6L 7 capital S RM 34 UZ8 OCCTP. Dell, it is not Dave, it is Dell PVID. PVID not found in the devices file. Okay, it's already removed. So let me give another ID. I'll give this one. It's already removed. You can check the file. Cat etc lvm cat etc lvm devices system.devices file. Now slash save slash stb is not here. I'm giving the PVID of the STA. LVM devices hyphen Dell PVID. LVM devices hyphen Dell PVID. Give the PVID 4Q LDE Z capital L HTN TGXM 7 MP8 V capital GWJ 9X O capital O 0 capital O PWRJL. So device slash save slash STA is used by an active LV. Continue to remove. No. So just delete in the devices file. It is have removed it. Add etc LVM devices system.devices file. Now you can see the A is also removed. Slash save slash STA is removed. How to add it back? To add it back, I use this command vg import devices hyphen all. Now cat etc lvm devices system.devices file. See, all of them are added again. A, B, A and B. So display the system devices file to verify that the deleted device no longer exists. Present cat slash etc slash lvm slash devices slash system.devices file. Update the system.devices file to match most recent device information. LVM devices hyphen update. Update the system.devices file to match most recent device information. LVM devices hyphen update. No update for devices file needed. So additional resources LVM devices man page on your system. Creating custom devices file. Logical volume manager LVM commands use the default system.devices file of the system. You can also create and use custom devices file by specifying the new file name in the LVM command. Custom devices files are useful in cases when only certain applications need to use certain devices. Create a custom Create a custom devices file in the etc LVM devices directory. Custom devices file. So I'm in the etc LVM devices directory ls. I'm creating custom file. Mention the device file name. Device file name is custom.devices. Display the new devices file. Include the new devices file in the LVM command. So LVM devices hyphen device file. So include the new devices file in the LVM command. etc LVM devices custom.devices. It is devices file. Devices file LVM device custom LVM devices file. So it says it's an invalid device file name. So I will rename custom.devices to custom, and I will try to include it in the so it is not taking the device file. So include the new devices file name in the LVM command. LVM devices hyphen devices file name. Optional display the new devices file to verify that the name of the new device is present. So here I removed the custom file and I added a new custom file. I added a new devices file. I gave the permission as well 55 to this file. Now I'm able to add the custom file to the LVM devices. So I'm able to include the new devices file in the LVM command. So LVM devices devices file name optional. Display the new devices file to verify that the name of the new device is present. So display the new devices file to verify that the name of the new device is present. Cat etc LVM devices. So the new devices file is present, but it is not populated yet. Additional resources LVM devices man page on your system. Disabling the system.devices file. You can disable the system.devices file functionality. This action automatically enables the logical volume manager LVM device filter. Open the lvm.conf file. Set the following value in the devices section. Use underscore devices file is equal to 0. Important, if you remove the system.devices file, this action effectively disables it. This applies even if you enable the system.devices file in the lvm.conf configuration file by setting use underscore devices file is equal to 1 in the devices section. Disabling the devices filter automatically enables lvm.conf device filter. Open the lvm.conf file. Open the lvm.conf and set the following value in the devices section. Vim etc lvm.conf file etc lvm vim etc lvm.conf file /use underscore devices file. So copy this line, paste it. So this one, copy, paste. So use underscore devices file is equal to 0. So I'm changing it to 0. Set the following value in the devices section. Use underscore devices file is equal to 0. Important, if you remove the system.devices file, this action effectively disables it. This applies even if you enable the system.devices file in the lvm.conf configuration file by setting the use underscore devices file in the devices section. Disabling the devices file automatically enables lvm.conf device filter. Use underscore devices file is equal to 0. So if I save it, it will disable the use of devices file. Persistent identifiers LVM filtering. Persistent identifiers for LVM filtering. Traditional Linux device names such as /save/sta are subject to changes during system modifications and reboots. Persistent naming attributes PNAs like worldwide identifier WWID, universal unique identifier UUID. Path names are based on unique characteristics of the storage devices and are resilient to changes in hardware configurations. This makes them more stable and predictable across system reboots. Implementation of persistent device identifiers in LVM filtering enhances the stability and reliability of LVM configurations. It also reduces the risk of system boot failures associated with the dynamic nature of device names. Additional resources, persistent naming attributes, how to configure LVM filter when local disk name is not persistent. Red Hat knowledge base. The LVM device filter. The logical volume manager LVM device filter is a list of device name patterns. You can use it to specify a set of mandatory criteria by which the system can evaluate devices and consider them as valid for use with LVM. The LVM device filter enables you control over which devices LVM uses. This can help to prevent accidental data loss or unauthorized access to storage devices. LVM device filter pattern characteristics. The patterns of LVM device filter are in the form of a regular expression. A regular expression delimits with a character and precedes with either A for acceptance or R for rejection. The first regular expression in the list that matches a device determines if LVM accepts or rejects, ignores a specific device. Then LVM looks for the initial regular expression in the list that matches the path of a device. LVM uses this regular expression to determine whether the device should be approved with an A outcome or rejected with an R outcome. If a single device has multiple path names, LVM accesses these path names according to their order of listing. Before any R pattern, if at least one path name matches an A pattern, LVM approves the device. However, if all path names are consistent with an R pattern before an A pattern is found, the device is rejected. Path names that do not match the pattern do not affect the approval status of the device. If no path names correspond to a pattern for a device, LVM still approves the device. For each device on the system, the UDEV rules generate multiple symlinks. Directories contain symlinks such as /save/disk /by-id /save/disk /by-uuid /save/disk/by-part to ensure that each device on the system is accessible through multiple path names. To reject a device in the filter, all of the path names associated with that particular device must match the corresponding reject R expressions. However, identifying all possible path names to reject can be challenging. This is why it is better to create filters that specifically accept certain paths and reject all others, using a series of specific A expressions followed by a single R pipe dot asterisk expression that rejects everything else. While defining a specific device in the filter, use a symlink name for the device instead of the kernel name. The kernel name for a device can change such as /save/st while certain symlink names do not change such as /save/dis/pi-id/wwn-asterisk. The default device filter accepts all devices connected to the system. An ideal user configured device filter accepts one or more patterns and rejects everything else. For example, the pattern list ending with R pipe dot asterisk. You can find the LVM devices filter configuration in the devices or filter and devices or global underscore filter configuration fields in the LVM.conf file. The devices or filter and devices slash global underscore filter configuration fields are equivalent. Important in Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9, the etc LVM devices system underscore system.devices file is enabled by default. The system automatically enables LVM devices filter when the system.devices file is disabled. Additional resources LVM.conf man page on your system. Examples of LVM device file configurations. The following examples display the filter configurations to control the devices that LVM scans and uses later. To configure the device filter in the LVM.conf file, see note. You might encounter duplicate physical volume PV warnings when dealing with copied or cloned PVs. You can set up filters to resolve this. See the example filter configurations in example LVM device filters that prevent duplicate PV warnings. To scan all the devices, enter filter is equal to square bracket double quote A pipe dot asterisk pipe close double quote close square bracket. To remove the CD-ROM device to avoid delays if the device drive contains nobody enter filter is equal to square bracket double quote R pipe caret symbol // CD-ROM dollar close pipe close double quote close square bracket. To add all loop devices and remove all other devices enter filter is equal to square bracket double quote A pipe loop pipe close double quote comma double quote R's pipe dot asterisk close pipe close double quote close square bracket. To avoid all loop and SCSI devices and remove all other block devices enter filter is equal to square bracket double quote A pipe loop comma double quote A pipe /t/st dot asterisk comma double quote R pipe dot asterisk close pipe close double quote close copy. To add only 8 partition 8 on the first device, first SCSI drive and remove all other block devices enter filter is equal to square bracket double quote A pipe caret /t/st8 dollar close pipe close double quote comma double quote R pipe dot asterisk close double quote close square bracket. To add all partitions from a specific device identified by WWID along with all multiple auth devices a filter enter filter is equal to square bracket double quote A pipe /t/disk by /id/disk id dot close pipe close double quote comma double quote A pipe /t/mapper/empath dot close pipe close double quote comma double quote R pipe dot asterisk close pipe close double quote. The command also removes any other block devices. Additional resources LVM.conf man page on your system. Applying an LVM device filter configuration. You can control which devices LVM scans by setting up filters in the LVM.conf configuration file. Prerequisites: you have disabled the system.devices file feature. You have prepared the device filter pattern that you want to use. Use the following command to test the device filter pattern without actually modifying the etc lvm.conf file. The following includes an example filter configuration lvs-config single quote devices open braces filter is equal to square bracket a pipe slash div slash emc power dot close pipe close double quote comma double quote r pipe dot close pipe close double quote close square bracket close braces close single quote. Add the device filter pattern in the configuration section devices of the etc lvm.conf file. Filter is equal to square bracket double quote a pipe slash div slash emc power dot asterisk close pipe close double quote comma double quote r slash pipe asterisk dot pipe close double quote close quote scan only necessary devices on reboot track put type name and force if anything verbose. This command rebuilds the initram FSPI system so that the LVM scans only the necessary devices at the time of reboot. So configuration option devices slash filter accepts every block device. So here there are some filters. Accept every block device. Filter is equal to square bracket double quote a pipe dot asterisk close pipe close double quote. Reject the CD-ROM drive. Filter is equal to square bracket double quote r pipe slash save slash CD-ROM close pipe close double quote. Work with just loopback devices. For example, for testing, filter is equal to square bracket double quote a pipe close double quote comma. Reject all other devices. R pipe dot asterisk close pipe close double quote. Accept all loop devices and IDE drives except HTC. Filter is equal to square bracket double quote a pipe loop pipe comma double quote r pipe slash div slash HTC comma double quote a pipe slash div slash id double quote a r pipe dot asterisk. Use anchors to be very specific. Filter is equal to square bracket double quote a pipe caret slash a slash ht $8 double pipe r pipe double quote r pipe dot asterisk pipe pipe close double quote. This filter configuration option is an automatic default value. Filter is equal to in square bracket double quote a pipe dot asterisk close pipe close double quote. This is the global filter section. Configuration option devices slash global underscore filter. Both are same. So this is LVM device filter configuration. You can control which devices scans by setting up filters in the LVM.conf configuration file. You have disabled the system.devices file feature. I have already disabled use underscore devices file is equal to 0. The device filter pattern that you want to use. Use the following command to test the device filter pattern without actually modifying the etc lvm.conf file. Use the following command to test the device filter pattern. The following example includes an example filter configuration. So exit this file. So lvs config in single quote devices braces space filter is equal to square bracket double quote a pipe slash save slash emc power dot pipe close double quote comma double quote r pipe dot pipe close double quote close square bracket close braces close single quote. So LVS hyphen config devices in braces filter is equal to open square bracket double quote a pipe slash save slash emc power dot close pipe close double quote comma double quote r pipe dot close pipe close double quote close square bracket close braces close single quote. Add the device filter pattern in the configuration section devices of the slash etc slash lvm slash lvm.conf file. Add the device filter pattern in the configurations section devices of the etc lvm.conf file. So add this pattern in the add the device filter pattern. So this is a device, this is called the device filter pattern. This is the device filter pattern in the configuration section devices. So where I have to add in the devices of the etc lvm.conf file. So vim etc lvm.conf file slash devices section so filter is equal to in square bracket double quote a pipe pipe symbol slash dev slash emc power dot asterisk close pipe close double quote comma close double quote r pipe asterisk dot close pipe close double quote close square bracket. Scan only necessary devices on reboot. So it accepts all EMC power devices and rejects all other devices. Save and exit. Scan only necessary devices on reboot. Or it says scan only necessary devices on reboot. Drag code force verbose. This command rebuilds anytime FS file so that LVM scans only the necessary devices at the time of reboot. LVM scans only the necessary devices at the time of reboot. Drag code force verbose. So I'll reboot the system once to check whether it is scanning only the necessary required devices, only the required devices, required devices. So it worked. Next, controlling LVM allocation. Controlling LVM allocation by default, a volume group uses the normal allocation policy. This allocates physical extents according to common sense rules such as not placing parallel stripes on the same physical volume. You can specify different allocation policy, contiguous, anywhere or cling by using the -alloc argument of the VG create command. In general, allocation policies other than normal are required only in special cases where you need to specify unusual or non-standard extent allocation. Allocating extents from specified devices, you can restrict the allocation from specific devices by using the device arguments at the end of the command line with LV create and LV convert commands. You can specify the actual extent ranges for each device for more control. The command only allocates extents for the new logical volume LV by using the specified physical volume PV arguments. It takes available extents from each PV until they run out and then takes extents from the next PV listed. If there is not enough space on all the listed PVs for the requested LV size, then command fails. Note that the command only allocates from the named PVs. RAID LVs use sequential PVs for separate RAID images or separate stripes. If the PVs are not large enough for an entire RAID image, then the resulting device use is not entirely predictable.